Welcome to the Data Legos API Developer Guide. Today, we're going to dive into a crucial topic: how APIs integrate with databases, acting as the safe and smart intermediary for your application's data. We'll be covering the API and database integration flow, understanding the API's role as a gatekeeper, and getting an overview of the essential CRUD operations. The API acts as a gatekeeper between the user and the database. Users never interact directly with the database. Instead, they send a request to the API. The API then decides if the request is valid and allowed. After validating the request, the API communicates with the database and sends back a clean response. This process is like a bank ATM. You press buttons to make a request, but the ATM, the API, is what checks your PIN and balance before it fetches the data from the bank system, the database. At the heart of most API database interactions are CRUD operations. CRUD is an acronym for the four basic operations you can perform with data. Create, this means adding new data to the database. Read, this is how you fetch data from the database. Update, this is the process of modifying existing data. Delete, this is for removing data from the database. Let's apply CRUD to a contacts app on your phone. When you add a new friend's number, you are performing a create operation. When you open and view a contact, you are performing a read operation. When you change their phone number, you are performing an update operation. And when you remove a contact, you are performing a delete operation. The integration flow is a clear sequence. First, a user makes a request, such as show my contacts. The API receives it and checks for rules like authentication and validation. The API then queries the database. The database responds with the data or a confirmation, and finally, the API formats and sends the response back to the user. Let's use a contact search as a concrete example. You type a friend's name into the app. The API checks your login and then asks the database for matching records. The database replies with the correct contact details. The API then sends the neatly formatted information to your screen. Using an API as a gatekeeper is crucial for several reasons. Without an API, direct database access is dangerous. You would have no security, allowing anyone to manipulate data. There would be no control, as bad queries could crash the database. And you'd have no consistency, with different apps fetching data in messy ways. Allowing direct access to a database is like letting strangers into a bank vault; they could steal or damage records. The API ensures only authorized, valid, and structured access takes place. To recap, the API is the gatekeeper that safely connects user requests to the database. CRUD operations are the basic building blocks for data interactions. And the integration flow is a step-by-step process that ensures everything works smoothly. Always use APIs for security, consistency, and scalability. Thank you.